Hello everybody, Adam here, and before we get into today's episode, just a quick announcement. We are getting very close to the end of Chapter 3 of the Coldfire Chronicles, and hence the end of Season 5, and hence the end of the Coldfire Chronicles as a story. We are recording a fair bit in advance at the moment to try and build ourselves a backlog to cover us over the Christmas period, so fairly soon we're going to be recording our Q&A episode. And I know it might be hard to come up with some questions based on what's been released so far. You might be wanting to wait until the final denouement before you go, oh, well, what about X, or what about Y, or what about this? But if you do have any questions you want us to answer, anything you want us to cover in our table chat that springs to mind now, please let us know. And you can do that via Twitter at Force Majeure Pod. You can do it via the Facebook page at Force Majeure Pod, which I don't check very often, I'll be honest, but I will make sure that I do. You can do it via our Discord, the link of which is in the show notes, or you can drop us an email at forcemajeurepod@gmail.com. And that is everything I want to say right now, so without any further ado, you know how it goes. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
Yarg, yarg, yarg. Ahoy hoy, welcome aboard! Buy the new Captain Codfish confetti blaster with realistic sounds and detachable battery pack, not included. Only available for limited time at certain venues with purchase of qualifying kids' meals. Buy me stuff, you planet lovers! And if you missed our last episode, remember kids, if you cause a scene in a Toy Star, your parents will buy you the toy to shut you up. That's a Captain Codfish guarantee! Yar har 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 har!
Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 21 of the Coldfire Chronicles. My name is Adam and I am your GM, and I'm joined around the table by a number of lovely people. And as they introduce themselves, they're going to answer me this question. What little touches have you added to the Foolhardy Gambit to make it feel a little bit more like home?
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Agatha, a Morian warrior aggressor colossus, whose emotional strength is his pride and whose weakness is his obsession. And I think Agatha probably doesn't put a huge amount of personal touch on things. I mean, especially considering this is like the third ship we've had in as many months, fourth in as many months, really. But the little bunch, I mean, he's just going to pick out quarters he quite likes the look of that are relatively unused at the minute, clear them out, and make sure the nightlight's working.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I play Jiren. He's a Chiss Mystic Advisor. His emotional strength is his enthusiasm, but his emotional weakness is his recklessness. Jiren's probably going to be doing the most refitting, but the advantage to Jiren is a lot of the stuff that he wants to have in this place are already here. He spends a fair bit of time in the captain's quarters, or what was the captain's quarters, ripping stuff out that may be more to the Trandoshan aesthetic than his. And by the end of it, he has a hammer cup, because a lot of the captain's quarters traditionally was used for storage. So it's not the grandiose looking quarters that you would expect it to be. I mean, it's quite well done. The inside of the Gambit has been quite well refitted. But Jiren has a hammock in a particularly empty room with his stuff quite neatly put to the side and his coat hung up and everything like that. It's not what you'd expect from him. He seems to have taken a lot of pride, a lot of time, a lot of effort in actually doing this to make the place like he wants. And Jiren's room is strangely minimalist.
My name is Ed Fortune, and I play the character of Oberon. He is a human hunter-seeker. He's recently become a notorious striker. His emotional strength is justice, and his emotional weakness is cruelty. Oberon's room is quite basic, actually. He's got a tiny shrine Not really like it's not dedicated to anything. It's just like a place where, there's a place on the carpet, there's a circle drawn out where he can relax and meditate. There is a sink and a basin for him to wash his hands. And there are also star charts everywhere as well of places that he's never been to.
Hi, I'm Mim. I play Lassa. She is a human sentinel artisan. Her emotional strength is her curiosity, but her weakness is obsession. And she is mostly, her room is quite basic. There's not much there apart from a mug and a few odds and sods of tools. But really what she's done is make a little extra space in the engine room dedicated to tinkering, because that's where she spends most of her time. She's moved in her lockbox, which has got a few odds and sods in it that she wants to keep away from other people, some work in progress. But the big thing is she's got the remains of the one-shot hyperdrive that she used to get to the stopover. And she's been looking at that and fiddling around with it, and it's back on the table to be manipulated and tried to fix and improve. It's her continual work in progress. And once she's got a project up and running, that's when a place starts to feel like home.
And we pick back up with the crew in the galley. It is the last day that you are mandated to be on the stopover. That is, by the end of today, all of the repairs that are needed to make the Foolhardy Gambit totally spaceworthy will be done, and you are free to leave the stopover and move on to where you go next. Your three newest crew members, Igwil, Throm and Jeblin, have not been invited to this powwow initially. They are around making themselves busy around the ship, but can be summoned in if you need them to. However, the four of you and Prinkle have gathered around for breakfast and to discuss what the plans are going forward. Players.
Okay, there are certain home truths that we need to embrace when rescuing Hijack. This is going to be a trap. We are going to be walking into a trap. So we should prepare ourselves to be ambushed, bamboozled, whatever. So any Hail Mary out of the left field kind of plans that you have, put them on the table now. If we have something that we do that's surprising, suddenly the power of the trap is diminished because nobody knows what is going on.
So, you may have noticed that I've changed my appearance and the way that I look. I have also changed my name. Please refer to me simply as Baron from now on.
Oh, Baron.
It's not much protection, but maybe it will slow down some of the people who are looking for us, and I need to abandon who I once was. Otherwise, it will destroy me. And I very much want to spend more time with you people for as long as I can.
Okay.
Seems a little bit serious as a name. How do you feel about Bazza?
Do you know what, Lassa? Yes, you can. But just you.
Thank you kindly. Because let's face it, with my voice, it'll be Baron. You'll constantly be Baron anyway, so it may as well be something a bit easier. It don't work with my Baron. It either becomes a weird sort of thing, or I have to enunciate it with a Baron. And it's a good name, not from my lips. I'm terribly sorry.
I have to say, 10th Brother will never see that coming.
Yep. Meeting over. Thank you.
I mean, my strategy for 10th...
Fair. Sorry, carry on.
Okay then, Baron. What's your plan? What do you think we can do to...
I would suggest many, many, many grenades at range, and then large amounts of explosive when it comes to 10th Brother.
Okay.
As a last minute, either myself or Agatha use the lightsaber to ward him off for long enough as it takes for the rest of you to get out of the way.
Question. Do we have many, many, many grenades or explosives?
Not really, no. We have rifles. We have some things that will go bang.
How much money have we got left? Of the thousands that I gave everybody, have you spent it all?
Not all of it?
I've still got some.
Do you want to go and buy some grenades? I know an arms dealer.
You can have mine back. I only spent about 200 credits, and that was mostly on drink for Ma. And she gets a little sad when she says that.
We can go and get some grenades if you wish. Because if we don't have grenades, your plan kind of falters on the fact that we can... I mean, Yeah.
We need to use shock and ordnance with someone like that.
Yes, but we want Pyjack alive.
Yes, but we don't want 10th Brother particularly alive.
I have a plan for Pyjack. I'm going to ask him very nicely to put his weapons down.
That could work.
I've been practicing my nicest possible tone, and I think I possibly can make my voice heard more than it usually is.
Who have you been trying this out on?
In front of the mirror, you know.
Oh, so not one of the new crew then?
No.
Okay.
No, it is a one-shot thing, but I think this is our shot. So I'm going to try something with Pyjack to try and get him back onto our side. I mean, my original idea was to fly the ship right into 10th Brother, but that's probably a little bit too dramatic.
If you said that was the plan, I wouldn't have spent so long making sure the ship was up to scratch.
Oh, no, we still need to get there. I mean, that's not the best plan. I'm hoping you will come up with a better plan for it. I like the grenades idea. Let's go and see my arms dealer friend.
My thinking of grenades is that the legends say that Jedi can parry blaster bolts. Even the ones on the ship maybe can parry that. But grenades would slow them down.
We do have a missile launcher on the ship, but we don't have any missiles.
How do we try out this Jedi moving blaster bolts thing? Because that sounds like a dangerous experiment.
You did say you wanted lightsaber training.
Yes?
Yeah, you hold the stick and he shoots you.
No. I remember things. I used to see him occasionally at markets, these weird little, these little ball things which shoot stuff out. And it comes from all different places on the ball, so you're never quite sure where it's supposed to come from. They're quite weird, those. Terrible if you brought it into a party. You never knew where to go.
So people buy these things and they just get shot at?
It's a modification. They used to have party poppers on them. It's fine.
In a previous life, I would call those dance droids. What you do is you take one of the new boys and you take one of the dance droids and you instruct the dance droid to help the new boy dance.
This education is going to be very interesting. I will look forward to this lightsaber training.
Jirent stopped smiling and he's just staring at Baron like a dance. Okay, this conversation is far too unsavory.
I've got 2 questions. One, last time we had a net that was quite useful actually, particularly for maybe getting Pyjack down and out. The Jedi is one thing, everything to do with him, but Pyjack, we just want to get him knocked out and dragged away, and we can deal with him later.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, there was a fair bit of tangling in that net, and if we could grab another one, that would be handy.
That did work quite well, I remember. Agatha looks slightly bashful about that.
The other thing is, the 3 newbies. They having weapons or what? Or are we just sending them in like sausages to a barbecue?
No, we're not sending them in like sausages to a barbecue. They're going with us. They're going to have their weapons and they're going to prove themselves useful members of the crew, or at least useful members of society, or at least somebody we don't space.
I mean, there's a stage we're missing here. We get to Daxos, that's fine. We land somewhere is the bit I'm confused on, and then we plan our raid. Where actually do we think Pyjack is?
There aren't many people on Daxos. Perhaps we can scan for him. I think we should probably start at the prison.
Ulasa, do you have any way of monitoring communications on a planet? Because they're going to be encrypted, surely.
She does that sucking in with her teeth thing that mechanics do when they're about to tell you that a job is expensive. Adam, do I?
Yeah, probably. Most ships can pick up encrypted stuff. It would then be a case of breaking the encryption. But the Gambit's sensor array is strong enough that it can probably pick up any kind of surface-to-ground transmissions, possibly do a radio frequency scan.
If we got closer.
If you got close enough, and then certainly just to pick them up, probably to then decrypt them might take a bit of work, but is not beyond the realms of a possibility, especially if you've got an astromech to help you.
Alright, well, it'd be easier if we had an astromech, but we got close enough. I reckon I could see what we could hear and then try and decrypt it.
Well, we still need to go and buy an astromech. I think Rooston should probably have something.
Pyjack will be using his own Clone Wars era kit, won't he? That might give us an advantage. We might be able to find something special or different about that we can use to find him.
Well, he'll have Tugger, won't he?
Possibly.
Yeah, he took the ship, he took the droid.
I mean, can we just try and communicate with Tugger?
We can give it a go. It's a good question. Well done. So I have on my list here astromech, grenades. Any other plans?
Net launcher.
We can certainly ask Rooston. He has a lot of different under-the-counter weapons, but he's on the other side of the station here.
I mean, this is going to be very embarrassing as it turns out he's no longer there.
Oh, he is.
Also, we'll need to find a box that can carry a medium-sized toucan.
They don't like to travel, as we know, yes.
I'm not carrying Captain Sparkles in my bag again. It took me a while to clean.
I'm hoping he's still there.
Is it holding out too much hope that we can get the Coldfire's Mercy back as well?
In a perfect world,
Imagine
yes,
having
but...
2 ships, Duran. You'd be an admiral, I believe, wouldn't you?
No, one of you would be a captain.
Be a Commodore.
Is it Commodore?
Do not want to be a Commodore. I don't want to make a splash in this world. I just want what I have. And, hijack is part of the things that I want, so...
Lassa, do you want to be Commodore?
Hats don't suit me.
Fine, I'll be Commodore.
Okay, you'll be Commodore.
You're getting a new engineer if you do that. No way am I calling you Commodore.
Brinkle, do you want to be Commodore?
I think I would look very dashing in a Commodore's uniform. All of the gold braid, it is something that very much appeals to me.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but can we focus?
Let's go get the stuff and get off this rock. Can I remind people that the longer we're here, the more likely it is that someone is going to come looking for us. And we can't have this place overrun. We just can't. Not like Port Haven.
We've got a few hours before we're ready. Let's go quickly speak to Rooston, get whatever grenades you have. I have 400 credits left. He hands it over to Baron. Buy the grenades you want with that. If anybody has anything else, we have enough for an astromech in the kitty. So Rooston should have probably both. Anybody got any other ideas on what we can do?
How much did you give me? Did you give me 2k?
Yeah.
Aye, well, there's about 1.8 left, I think. So you can have that back. It's all or nothing at this rate, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Because if this doesn't work, we aren't coming back to spend the rest.
Good talk, people. Morale officer there. I'm very, very pleased with that. It's okay. Shall we go and see Rooston then?
No, it's all right. Either I'd much rather stay with the ship. I'm not really keen on socialising much at the moment. Is that all right? I'll keep pushing buttons and oiling things here.
Okay, I'll tell Rooston you spoke after him.
Aye. Send my regards.
Larson?
Yep.
Probably not the time, but if I can give you one piece of advice, don't dwell, or if you do decide to dwell, realise that by dwelling on it means that that moment will be who you are.
I've just got a lot of work to do here, Baza.
Try not to dwell. Throw yourself into the work if you can.
Well, there's enough to keep me busy to do that. You go find what we need, make sure we're all geared up for this. You know more about these kind of military things than we do, so do what you do best.
Okay.
So we smash cut to Rooston Velmosk's Emporium. The Emporium is a fairly large building in the trade quarter. It has its own landing pad at the back for freighters, which is currently empty at the moment, but does have its ray shield glimmering. And it is clear that the back half of this, or in fact most of this building, is a big old warehouse. And at the front is a reception room, and effectively it's a bit like Argos. Behold the catalogue of dreams, wherein there's a couple of built-in data slate stands which show what goods are available from Velmosk's Emporium, and you place an order and service droids come to get you. There is a bored-looking Chevin who is behind one of the counters and is flicking idly through a magazine. Jiren, you will know from your time on here that the catalogues are the legitimate side of Velmosk's business. Velmosk being he runs effectively the general store here in terms of bulk purchasing for merchants. He does some kind of in-betweeny work. You know, he will buy cargoes off freighter captains and then sell them on to other freighter captains. He runs a pretty big sideline himself in the sort of things you need to set up colonies and outposts and that sort of stuff. You know that the good stuff, however, you have to ask to see. So yes, you get in there is tinny music playing, there are some benches with these data slates on chains so you can flick through the catalogue of dreams, and as I say, there is this very, very bored-looking Chevin of indeterminate gender standing behind the counter reading through Hello There magazine.
Well, first things first, we need to look for an astromech, so we'll go over to the laminated catalogue of dreams and start flicking through to the droid section.
Yes, they do have in a couple of astromech droids it's all older models. There's nothing cutting edge here. There's a few R1s, there's a few R2s, there's a couple of reconditioned C1 models. It is not cutting edge. It's not really like the Cybot Galactica outlet store. It's usually ones that have come to end of life and have been refurbished, and a couple of older models that have been bought as end of product line that haven't yet been fully activated, that sort of thing.
Okay.
It's taking all of Oberon's willpower not to flip towards the back and start looking at the toys.
By which you mean the weapon selection?
Yes.
Yes.
There are no weapons on open display or openly for sale here at all. Well, I tell lie, there's possibly one or two of the really low-powered hold-out blasters and pocket slug throwers, but nothing that is serious.
But there's definitely heights and depths action figures, yeah?
Oh, yeah. There's construction kits and that sort of thing.
Is there a dance droid?
No, not on obvious display.
Okay.
So tell me about the astromech droid that you buy then. What's the model? What's its name?
That's a good question. I don't think it's a particularly newer model. I think we can probably get something of an R series, but it's not going to be anything more than an R1, I think.
I was going to suggest maybe we could go for a C1 that's never been out of the box, so it looks old.
Yeah.
But it's how there's a market for unboxed old ghetto blasters and this sort of thing and boom boxes.
Yeah.
And essentially we look for it and we go, that one's never been used. It's a classic. It's in our price range. It does everything we want it to do.
Guys, they were antiques when the Clone Wars were happening. They were already out of date. Lasso is going to be going Jack and the Beanstalk and his mother when he comes home and goes, look, I've got some magic beans. I'm going to go, you bought a what? Oh, fantastic. Tell you what, why don't you go and put on this massive metal diving suit and do a spacewalk if we're going for a retro look? Let me just wrap some aluminium foil around you.
If it's that old and still boxed, is it going to be worth even more? Because we're talking vintage collector's market now.
So Oberon will go, well, there's some unboxed C1s, but maybe we should get something a bit more. Mind you, they are really cool. I mean, this one comes in chrome and purple. I think I'm looking at the wrong thing.
We need something that is functional.
We could get an R5. I always feel slightly uncomfortable buying droids.
You could consider it liberating if you wish.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get an R5. How much are we looking at?
I'm going to say they're about 7.
Yeah.
They're about $7,000 because they're not top of the line.
Okay, so we're not going to be going for a C1 then, mostly because we can hear Lassa screaming from all the way over. But we'll go for maybe an R5, which is cheaper, surprisingly, than an R2. It looks well maintained. It looks like it's been fixed up, but it's not a new out of box sort of thing. And I think, considering he's called R5, I think we should call him Ricky.
Yep, I am more than happy with that.
I think when we get him, he is possibly a little bit... I don't think he wants to get attached. He probably has a little bit too much personality because he is ended up being bought and sold quite a fair bit.
Have they been wiped then prior to sale, do you think? Or do you think they've been left with some of that developed personality? Or
I think that certainly Rusum thinks it's been wiped, and we think it's been wiped until it gets to the ship, and then it's quite clearly just gone, yeah, beep, boop, 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 I've been wiped, yes, definitely. And I think it has a certain amount of not as wiped as we'd expect.
Can I make a couple of pitches? One is, rather than Ricky, why don't we say he's R500 so we can call him Rizzo?
Yeah, Rizzo. I like Rizzo.
And can I also pitch that he was former stock for a casino? So he's got little hidden, where his equipment pouches come out, where, the various arms and mechanical arms are.
Is he carrying a drinks tray on the hook?
He's just been slightly blinged, which means that his personality is one that is, slightly risk-takey kind of.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine basically the sort of thing like a sat nav, which has still got the roads from a couple of years ago in it, but not necessarily anything that's just the new hyperspace bypass hasn't been inputted yet. Although he'll probably get that information when he boards the ship.
Oh yeah. His hyperspace maps are not going to be up to date until you've had a chance to connect into the HoloNet and let them download and update.
Okay, so yeah, we pick up Rizzo, the ex-casino droid. So while we're doing that and arranging that, Jiren saunters up to the bored-looking shopkeep and has his standard sort of smile. Says, I would like to see what bantha meat you have.
I think we only have jerk here at the moment, but let me call up through our stores. And they start tapping on a data slate.
No. I don't think you understand. I would like to see what bantha meat you have.
There's a moment, and they blink very slowly.
There's a pause. He turns around and says, I think the code has changed.
That definitely sounds like you're asking for porn.
They kind of, look a bit kind of over your shoulder at the rest of Baron and Agatha. I'm not sure we're that sort of establishment. There's a few more seconds, and then they go, Oh, what bantha meat we have. Who shall I say is calling?
Tell them it's Jiren.
Oh, just one moment, Jiren. They pull out a comm and put it to their kind of... They put it to their mouth, because like with there being a Chevin, they've got like a long trunk that's almost at waist level, and they put the comm down there, and then there's another moment, and then they take out a second comm and hold it to their ear in their other hand. Mr. Velmosk, there's a Jiren here to see you. Oh, very well. I'll send them through to the receiving room. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Then they hang up both of the comms. They gesture to where a door has kind of popped open and slid over in the wall. While you were in the room, it just looked like one of the wall panels, but yes, it slid in. And beyond that, you can see a very tastefully appointed room with some deep couches and a desk, and one of those big, almost circular, deep swivel chairs, that, like from Men in Black. You know, there's kind of, that is currently swiveled away from the desk. And there's another door in there and lots of paintings on the wall.
I know he has swiveled it away just to make an entrance. Oh, God, right. Okay, they're with me, I say, and we walk through. And Jiren's muttering, saying, I'm sure that was the code. I'm sure. We walk in.
It is a big, very comfortable Chesterfield-style leather couch that is very worn in. You know, it's got the cracks that show that this is an old and luxurious piece of furniture, and it's in front of a desk carved of some form of wood that has clearly been imported here. And there's this big chrome swivel chair on the other side.
Okay. Walk in. Don't sit down. Stand there, wait for his entrance, because you do not deny somebody of a cool entrance.
After a few seconds, the swivel chair dramatically pivots round, and unfolding from there, they clearly had their head between their legs, is a Kaminoan. This Kaminoan is wearing what can best be described as the height of disco fashion. It is a big gold lame poofed shirt that is far too big for their spindly frame. They have parachute pants on in a variety of terrible clashing colours, and a huge, like, knee-high pair of New Rock style combat boots with all the silver studs down the front of it.
It is clear Jiren and Rusin went to the same shop to buy their clothes.
Absolutely. They have like big silver necklaces hanging down and an awful lot of jewellery.
Well, hello, Jiren, and friends. It has been no small time since we last had business together.
Your codes have changed. I do apologise for making a scene.
It's quite all right. Security sometimes needs upgrading, but when I saw it was you, I realised that all would be well. Always a pleasure doing business with you. Please, you and your companions should take a seat.
Thank you, you are most kind. Jiren slouches in a chair.
So, how can we help you today?
I am hoping it is a very quick and painless transaction. We very simply need to exchange some of our credits for as many grenades as you possibly have.
Oh, we have quite a selection. What sort of grenades are you looking for? Anti-personnel? High explosive?
Yes.
Armor piercing?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Just a wide selection of the house's favourites.
If we could have, say, a family selection of 12 of whatever you have.
The only thing I'm out of at the moment, tragically, is thermal detonators. I fear there is something of a galactic shortage. There's a war on, you know.
And they raise their eyebrows.
Jiren, there's also another item that we'll need.
The net launcher?
Oh, the net launcher. I was also thinking of something suitable for helping us train against warding against melee energy weapons.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wonder if you have somewhere in the back a tangle gun, or a pistol. We wish to capture some people unharmed, and I think that is possibly the best way of doing it. I mean, stun guns notwithstanding, but we're also looking for a, I'm going to say it, lightsaber trainer.
We haven't been asked for one of those since during the Clone Wars. As far as the tangle gun goes, we can most assuredly help you there. There is always a high demand for the bounty hunter's best friend. I'm sure I can sort you out some of the reasonable models. Let me just have a look through my inventory for the training droid.
And they pull out a data slate. This data slate is gold.
Yep.
Not golden coloured, it is gold, with a touchscreen on the front. It is Kanye West's iPad level of tasteless gourd. And they start flicking through it.
I think we may be in luck. We recently acquired a shipment from an old Jedi temple that was ransacked by the Empire, and some of the more enterprising stormtroopers found some goods they were able to sell on. I think we can assist you. We only have 2 in stock, and they are showing their age a little bit from my inventory notes, but I can let them go for a reasonable price to a friend.
Do they come as a pair? Would it be a better and more reasonable price if we bought both?
Make me a negotiation test. I think the difficulty is going to be 2 red, 2 purple, because Velmosk is very good at this, but I am going to give you 2 boosts because you're friends.
That's 1 red, 2 green, 2 force dice, 2 red, 2 purple, and a boost. And roll. Oh, that's interesting. So that is 2 successes, 2 disadvantage, 1 despair, and 2 dark side. You know what? I'm not going to use the dark side. I'm just going to let it fly.
See, I'd really want to know what else is in that shipment, but...
Yeah, I think we might find out with that despair. Adam, can I suggest something for the despair?
Yeah, by all means.
Whilst we negotiate fine, our friendship is not quite as sturdy as one would expect, and that despair is, as soon as we leave, he tries to call in on the reward for Oberon.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. It is not an obvious despair.
Yeah.
But yes. And yeah, the threats are going to basically just up the overall cost at the end of this when we work that out off camera.
Yes.
Because quite frankly, lots of credit-based bookkeeping, it does not make for a scintillating story.
It does not.
I think also the fact you're asking for lightsaber training droids has also sent up a bit of a flag, so yes.
For you, I can certainly sell them as a pair. That would be more than acceptable. Gets them off my hands into the hands of someone who can use them.
And there's a very slightly knowing smile.
I will try and surreptitiously, like possibly tipping our hand, which leads to the Jedi bounty money. Is there any chance we can see what else is in that crate? We might need to use it.
I wonder if there is anything else of Jedi interest in that crate of yours. Even the most innocuous thing could be interested to the right buyer. And we do have contacts. Perhaps we can take them off your hands and make both you and me a little profit.
It's mostly a few books and robes and similar things. Nothing particularly interesting, but I'm happy to sell it as a job lot if you want to. As you say, one less thing for me to worry about, and you might be able to get some use out of it.
Yes, I think we know somebody who could possibly make use of it. Let's put it all together, wrap it up, and we'll take it away.
Absolutely. Do you want to wait while I get all these boxed up, or shall I have them forwarded to your vessel?
I think we should wait and get them and take them with us, if that's all right.
It's absolutely fine. It'll only be a few moments. I'll dispatch one of my employees to start gathering the items for you.
And they tap once again on their data slate. Let's out a little chime.
In the meantime, how have you been?
Very well. In fact, doing better all the time. We're just at the stopover to get supplies, as you can see. And then it's off on our adventures. Previously, we have had all manner of fun. I have recently been incarcerated.
It is always a peril of living the life of a dashing space rogue.
This is what I said to the people who caught me. Apparently that was confession in their eyes, but never mind.
Speaking of which, I have recently come into possession of a numbering of dashing space swashbuckler novels. Do you want me to add them to your order?
He looks around at the other two and says, yes, if you, yes, please.
Absolutely.
Do you have the sequel to Passion on the Hydian Way?
Oh, yes. We have all of them. You have been out of the loop. It's a full series of 5 books now.
Oh.
I have them in a collector's folio.
We can afford to put a little bit. Yes, please. Yes. That will be very nice. Okay.
They tap again on the data slate and it chimes again.
Always get the folio edition if you can afford it.
It's not just for reading. Then it's something you can put on the shelf and enjoy, even when you're not reading it.
Absolutely. I see you are a being after my own heart when it comes to a well-supplied bookcase.
Surprisingly, yes.
And I think a bit of time passes, small talk is exchanged, and after some time, some drinks are offered around, and then a crate on repulsors is brought round to the front, is harnessed up to Rizzo, who has been nominated to drive it back to wherever it is that you wish to take them.
Yeah, we're going to the Gambit. So,
Yep.
Cool. That went quite painlessly, didn't it?
Yes. What kind of novels are these?
High adventure romance novels. You would be interested. They're not very good. I only read them because of the articles. No, I only read them. I only read them because I got hooked on them in Deep Space. It is all.
So like Heights and Depths.
No, not like Heights and Depths. No. There is passion, intrigue, romance, buckling of swashes and swashing of buckles, death of close friends, the majesty of combat, and a little bit like Heights and Depths. You're right.
Isn't the main character a chiss, if memory serves?
I always imagined him to be a chiss, but I believe they leave it a little bit up to the reader's imagination. It sells more copies that way, I'm to understand. But yes, I've always imagined him to be a chiss. I think he was a Pandoran in the, but there's not much difference, and I'm allowed to say that.
But you return to the Gambit, you unload your new acquisitions. Are you going to introduce Rizzo to Lasser and the rest of the crew? Or are you just going to send them straight up to the cockpit and be like, strap in?
No, I think we're going to introduce to Lasser first.
Yeah, Lasser! As we come in, we've got aboard crew!
Oh, God. All right, I'm coming up. All right, so what's the damage then?
We spend pretty much all of the money we have.
But we got this.
Harder!
Rizzo pops out a little hand and waves it.
All right.
Did that astromech just speak? Did you just speak?
Nope, definitely not.
It turns its dome shiftily.
Does anyone here speak droid? Because I think I do.
I don't think we need to speak droid. Hi, I'm to understand you are Rizzo. Is that right?
Yep, yes I am. Are you feeling lucky?
Not anymore.
Oh my God, you got one with a personality. Oh no.
Nope, definitely not. I've been store wiped. This is my factory settings.
I like your factory settings.
And then its little receptor light blinks off and on.
I'm going to check the motivator on these because they are known to be faulty.
I resent that. I'm in prime working order.
She's going to do it anyway, you know.
Eh?
Trust her, she is a doctor of metal. I don't know, an engineer's doctor of metal? I don't know. You can talk. I've never met an astromech who can speak basic.
I was fitted with a vocabulator in my last role. They thought it would help me put our customers at ease. Not everyone understands the bippity boopity.
I'm sorry.
This is the Foolhardy Gambit. It will be your home from now. I am Captain Jaren. This is Lasser. She is the engineer and your lifeline, being a droid. This is Baron. He is our resident mopey person. And...
Pilot. I'm your pilot.
He's the pilot? I forgot that, actually. Sorry about that.
We're going to be working very closely together then, Baron. Nice to meet ya.
Nice to meet you, Rizzo.
And this is Agatha. Agatha once punched a Wookiee in the head.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, and Prinkle. Here is Prinkle. Prinkle is the heart and soul of the ship.
Oh, Jaren, my friend, I try my best. But we are all family together.
Well, hi.
Sorry, I just...
Well, hi there, little Prinkle. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you as well. Welcome to the ship. I hope you will get on well.
I'm sure I will. We're gonna be great friends.
You see, Lasser? You see? We can be trusted to buy droids.
Alright, well, Rizzo, do you mind if I give you a quick once-over just to make sure you're all fine and dandy?
Be my guest.
And Rizzo, just to explain that better. So, Jiren is essentially the captain, Larsa is the engineer, I'm the pilot, Prinkle is the chief petty officer, and Agatha here is both quartermaster and chief of security.
Everything here is very secure. Everyone is feeling very secure about themselves as a person. I'm doing my job.
Well, that's sure nice to hear.
Also, there are 3 other people. We don't know them very well yet.
There is also crew. They are just crew. They don't have any assigned roles because we don't trust them.
Or assigned names. Nice to meet you, crew.
And Rizzo waves its little hand again.
Egwell from Jeblin. They once mutinied against me. It's a long story.
Well, we're gonna have plenty of time in hyperspace to hear it.
So, are you hyperspace ready? Do we need to plug you in? What do we need to do?
Oh, I can just wire in if you got a scum plate.
Lasser, it's over to you.
I'm multi-purpose.
Oh, thank you kindly. I will go and get on in my job.
You look over Rizzo. Yeah, they're in reasonably good working order. They have everything required to interface with the ships, with the navicomp that's built into the Foolhardy Gambit. There's no unpleasant surprises built into their chassis or anything like that. They don't need a separate astromech dock or anything like what Tucker had. They can just connect in. With the Gambit being a significantly more modern vessel than Coldfire's Mercy, they can just connect up normally.
Fantastic. Alright, I'll give him a bit of a buff and polish then, and I don't think I'm going to put a restraining bolt on him. But I am going to give him the talk of, this is a restraining bolt. I am not going to put this on you. But I want you to know it's a choice to show that I trust you, rather than I'm stupid, because I ain't. You got it?
Absolutely.
Alrighty then.
I'm happy to be part of a crew again.
Then you and me are going to have no problem.
It's lonely in the warehouse. Looking forward to working with you.
Alright. Well, sorry we ain't got no other droids on here to chat to or nothing, but, well, I spend most of my time working around here.
That's alright. I like people. I was designed to interact with organics.
I think most of the people on here can be classed as sentient beings, more or less. Not sure about Agatha. He's certainly a being, whether he's sentient or not, I don't know sometimes.
The hurt look on Ross's face, listeners. The hurt look there.
I thought we'd made progress this series.
Luckily, he can't hear me saying this because I'm in engineering with the droid. So it's all good.
She says lots of things behind our back, listeners. Lots of things.
Hey, I made you a trinket. You will have found it in your room by now, possibly. Which will probably mean you freak out like you did when you found a nightlight and you were really, who did this? But yeah, no, they're a good bunch of people. Looking forward to it.
And I think by this stage, with all the repairs done, all the shopping done, are there any further loose ends? Or do we leave this episode with the Foolhardy Gambit repaired, leaving the stopover, flying out away from Tamdu, and dropping into hyperspace?
To the stars.
Yeah, on to adventure.
Then on to adventure it is, and that is where we shall wrap this episode. Thank you, everybody. We have left the stopover, and we are going to be entering Endgame. Thank you, as always, to everyone for being part of this with us as we move towards the end of the Coldfire Chronicles. Stay safe out there, look after yourselves, and we shall see you next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for this season is Unholy Night by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. If you like the show and want to interact with us, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, all of which are at Force Majeure Pod, though Twitter is probably where you're going to find us more regularly. If you enjoy what we do and want to support the show, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is via our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. The second is by buying us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod. And the third way is by rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere where you can find us. We really like reviews. It tells us that we're telling the stories that you want to hear and helps other people find us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.